Hi Nathan, here is a video on how to create applique, especially if you're using letters. You're just going to go into your lettering, or in your case numbers, and I'm going to change my font to something that's a little bit bigger. And let's see what size we want to make this. You can select your size here, and I'll go ahead and make this like 100. Then I'm just going to input my letters, or my numbers in your case, and say okay. Now these are going to come out in satin, which are too large. So there's my satin, it's way too big. What I'm going to do is just come over and click on the color chip that represents the numbers over here if you follow my mouse up in the corner, or I can hold my control key and right click on each one of these letters, and they're both flashing and selected. Then I'm going to go into my stitch property, so you can either press the space bar on your keyboard, you can come up to this little icon right here, or if you're already here, you can right click and go to stitch settings. So once I'm in the stitch settings, I'm going to scroll over and I'm going to select applique. And this is just going to create a quick little applique for me. So I just click apply. And there's my applique. These are my applique settings. Here's my placement line telling me where to put the fabric. Here's my tack down line, which is going to hold the fabric into place. And this is my cover hem. So there's my satin that I'm using, it's 4 millimeters wide. And what this does is create three different places, placement, tack down, and cover. I can control the line settings, especially the width of the satin, either here, or I can come over to here and make some changes. Now if I want this to be wider, I would change it generally in the applique, and let's go ahead and make this very wide. So there's 8 millimeters. If I want to add a pattern or I want to change the density, I'm going to come over to the satin tab, and I can put a fill into this if I need to. I can change my density here, so I'll go ahead and enable a fill. And if I make it wide like this, what I might want to do is come over to my basic tab and tell it to use underlay. And then you can check your underlay setting. The underlay tab will appear as soon as that's checked, and that should be okay. Or you might want an edge, or you might want both, depending on how wide. So let's go ahead and say okay, and I can leave this at satin, or I can make a pattern to it. Now what else I can do is I can also take these numbers, and I'm going to go ahead and just hold the control key and right click and select them all. They're now going to stitch an applique, so it's going to be placement, tack down, and cover. So you would put a placement and stop on your machine, tack down, stop on your machine, cover, and then it would immediately go to this one. You don't necessarily need to stop. And then you would place a stop after this placement, a stop after this cover, or a stop after this tack down, and then would do your cover stitch. If you want to snazz this up a little bit, since applique is technically an area, you can go into your stitch and create an outline from area edges. And we've made this kind of large, 8 millimeters, and put a fill in it. But if I want to make this a little snazzier and add two colors, remember this is 8 millimeters, but it's set in a little bit, so my offset here would need to be set in a little bit. And I'm going to put minus, we'll go ahead and put minus 2.5 here. You might have to play with that number a little bit depending on what you're doing. And let me go ahead and make a new color here just so you can see it. And you could actually do something similar to this. So that's how you create the applique for what you're trying to do with the twill letters. Thank you.